Grand North American Fiddle Championship.
All right, how are we doing for contestants ready to go? And who's going to be up first? James or Jane? Ladies first? Or are you going to flip a loony for that? Toonie. All right. Please welcome to the stage Jane Corey from Manitoba. And she's going to play a reel for us. And what's your reel that you're going to play, Jane?
I'll play Natalie McMasters.
Wonderful. Thank you.
One, two, three.
Thank you, Jane. All right, now we'll have James Steele come on up. You know two reels, and this one's going to be, what's it called?
Turkey in the straw.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, James. All right, so that helps us find out who is going to be the final contestants in the final for the championship class. One thing we didn't do is we didn't recognize all the players today in the championship class by a round of applause. And I don't know about you, but what a class. To be able to attend an event like this and see that caliber of playing, not only the championship, but the open class and all weekend here, that's a real treat to be able to have a collection of fiddlers come and entertain us, and hopefully you feel the same about that. Yes, I've got my package of the next class here, which is going to be the intermediate and intermediate advanced. We're going to move on to that. So we have 3 players in the intermediate class, so I'll get the list. No, I think you judges, you're fine with that. You're going to turn in the marks for those last two players, and if we need any further time for that, they'll let us know, I'm sure. All right. Thanks, John, for taking care of those two classes, and Patty's back with the classes that she judged early this morning in the preliminary. So let's get started with the intermediate class, where again they're going to play waltz, jig, and a reel, and they're going to play that in that order. And we're going to welcome to the stage Marcia Corba as our first contestant in the finals. Now these three have competed in the preliminaries, and because the class isn't totally full by the awards that can be presented, the marks that they had this morning will move on with them in the finals here. And for these three players, Marcia is going to be our first player, and she is going to play Westphalia Waltz. Correct me if I'm wrong, Marcia, but if you see the list here, Westphalia Waltz, and Rakes of Kildare is your jig. It's okay. Just let the judges have a time to write that all down. Easy for me to say, it's a little bit tougher to write everything down as I go along. Red-Headed Fiddler's Waltz. Oh, no, sorry. Westphalia Waltz.
Yep.
Yeah. Westphalia, yeah. Rakes of Kildare is the jig.
St. Anne's.
And St. Anne's reel. Looking good. Thank you.
Ready?
All right. Thanks, Marcia. All right, our next contestant in this intermediate class, ages 19 to 54, is the category for this, and Charlotte Polson from Calgary is going to come next. And Charlotte's waltz is Josephine's waltz. And the jig, you're going to have to help me out, Charlotte, of, oh yeah, Gig du Capuchon. Thank you. Gig du Capuchon. And the reel is Red Wing.
One, two, three. One, two, three, and.
Thank you, Charlotte. All right, our final contestant in the intermediate class, from Calgary, Alberta, we will welcome Randy Sawatsky. All right. right, and Randy's going to play Teardrop Waltz. Stan Lennox first change as the jig.
Oh, buckskin reel.
And the buckskin reel. All right, we're good to go. Thank you, Randy. Well, that's the three players in our intermediate class, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to move on to the advanced intermediate. They've split that in two. The age category is 19 to 54, and they give the players a chance to enter either of those two. Lots of times we have lots of players in that particular age category, and the level of play that they would like to choose is certainly up to them to be in the advanced intermediate or in the intermediate class. So our first contestant up in the advanced intermediate class is Lori Metke from Lacombe. I'll give the judges a couple of minutes yet to arrange for the next one here. I noticed somebody come up and let me know that the CFCW truck was gone by the time I even announced it. They were out of here. They were just a trail of dust out of here. So we didn't get to see anybody from CFCW. How many of you remember Curly Gerlach from CFCW? Oh, yeah. What about Bev Monroe? Oh, yeah, Chakai. Yeah, you got that one. I remember, you had the Knee Slapper Award at 10 after 8 every morning? That was about the time I was supposed to get on the bus, was 10 after 8. But I could hear the Knee Slapper just in time and get the heck out of the house down to the end of the lane and catch the bus. So I remember the Bev Monroe Knee Slapper Award was really, there was always the joke of the day there for sure. All right, shall we get started in this next class, judges? We okay? All right. So Lori's going to play Ramona as her waltz, Jimmy's favorite jig, and the reel's called Lindbergh. Thank you, Lori. All right, our next contestant in the advanced intermediate is Troy Gates from Sturgeon County, Alberta. His waltz today is Double Ann Waltz. All right, and his jig is Trinket and Buddy. And the reel today is Trudeau's reel. Trudeau's reel.
Oh, boy, you hear that?
The reel is spelled R-E-E-L, folks. All right. Are we good? Are we good to go? There we go. Okay, it's all yours, Troy. Thank you, Troy. Our last contestant In this particular class, we'll welcome Benjamin Noor from Regina to the stage. Benjamin's going to play the Tennessee Waltz. Smash the Window as the jig. And Blind Man's Reel. Thank you very much. Well, that ends our class for that particular advanced intermediate class, and which means now we're going to move right into the Alberta Open. And out of the 9 players, there's the 5 that are eligible to come to the finals, and we'll have that class. We'll move on to our traditional class yet today, and our harmony class, and our championship class yet. Hopefully everybody's got in on the draw there, that 50-50. We're going to have the draw, all the draws are going to happen as the day ends here, and somebody's going to take home that guitar, and somebody's going to take home that violin, and the 50-50 draw. It's up to, I don't know how many hundreds of dollars, and then the Alberta Society of Fiddlers has that early bird raffle. All the tickets that were sold this weekend right here are going to be in a separate draw box to have an eligible winner that's going to take that lovely table runner home. I think there's 2 table runners there. That's one for the summer and one for the winter time, and 2 beautiful pieces of work that have been donated. And Mike back there has got fiddles on display. And Mike, I think you wanted to say something quick about, I know you had some fiddle cases or something that, but I'll have you come up a little bit later once we, come and go and see Mike at some point today if you're needing some supplies on the violin side. He's been so gracious as to bring all those fiddles to us to look at and they're all beauties. They're right out of the best barn ever right there, I think, Mike, eh? They're all champions, all great fiddles. All right, so let's move on to the Alberta Open. And in this particular one, you might find it's going to be interesting how the fiddlers arrange their tunes, because they do have the freedom to arrange their tunes whichever way they want. And you've heard the waltz, jig, and reel scenario all this time. They might choose to play a foxtrot as their fourth tune of choice. You might hear that first, but somewhere along the way you're going to hear a waltz, jig, and reel, and then a tune of choice, which can be, it could be another reel, but it also could be something that you haven't heard in tempo before. Could be a schottische, could be a polka, could be a foxtrot, things like that. So it's going to be interesting how they want to arrange their tunes all that way. And you need something, Donna? Yeah, Donna needs her sheets. Okay, so she'll, I think Mr. Borch may have heard that, and they may have heard it in the back there as well. Okay, the wrong one. So the Alberta Open, whoever wins this particular event today, folks, are going to get an extra bursary to be able to go to the Canadian Grand Masters Championship. And so they'll get a certain amount of dollars towards their travel. And so that's a pretty good incentive for them to want to compete and go to the Canadian Grand Masters, which this year, by the way, is being held in Valleyfield, Quebec. It was in Alberta last year, and they're moving it around, and Valleyfield, Quebec is going to have the pleasure of hosting that one, and I'm not sure where it's going to after that. Have you heard, Patty, where they're going to after? No, somebody has to step up. Maybe it'll bounce all the way over to BC, hopefully, and move around in Canada as much as possible. So, all right, so we've got the paperwork, Donna, is all good. And so let's welcome our first contestant to the stage for the Alberta Open, Jackson Corey from Red Deer. Yeah, let's give him a hand as we'll do. This is our Alberta Open. We're going to get excited about this one, and we're sending someone off to represent us. So the Alberta Open is a pretty special class today. So Jackson, you're going to play Aretha's Waltz, Plymouth Lassie is your jig, and your reel is Pullin' Mallaig, M-A-L-A-I-G. Whoops, M-A-L-L-A-I-G. And your tune of choice today is called 40 West. 40 West. All right. Judges are ready. We're ready to hear you play. Thank you. Thank you, Jackson. All right, our next contestant at the Alberta Open is Rigel Borch from Leduc County. Rigel's going to play the Manitou Waltz. Chetty Camp Jig. Manitou Waltz and the Chetty Camp. You change that?
No, and then I'm just going to play Bill Cheatham as my reel as well.
Bill Cheatham is your reel. Okay. And Kansas City Kitty as your tune of choice. All right. All good.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2.
Thank
Thanks, Rigel. Our next contestant in the Alberta Open, Benjamin Christiani from Edmonton. Ben's waltz today is the Starlight Waltz. Jig is Shady Camp Jig. Wobbeman Breakdown. And the tune of choice, Wostock Polka. Wostock. W-O-S-T-O-K. Benjamin. All right, our next contestant in the Alberta Open is Brendan Chartrand from Fort McMurray. Brendan's going to play the Apple Blossom Waltz. Romeo's First Change as the jig. Fur Trader's Reel. And the tune of choice is called My Shoes.
It's White River Stomp.
Oh, is it White River Stomp? I'm sorry. I see it on above there. White River Stomp as tune of choice. Thanks, Brendan. Okay, all yours. Thanks, Brendan. All right. Well, our last contestant in the Alberta Open class today, 2017, we're going to welcome Caleb Hunt from Edmonton up to the stage. Caleb's going to play Ramona's Waltz. Greg Henry, the 6/8, as the jig. Cat Scratch Reel. And tuna choice, Fly in the Puddin'. Thank you, Caleb. Wow, let's keep on clapping for the whole group here, folks. All the Alberta Open players. My goodness. From the age 12 all the way to 22 was the age range of those young folks. So isn't that indicative of a wonderful future that we have for the fiddling world when we have the Alberta Open and have those young players perform for us this afternoon? Yes. Fantastic. Sure. Yep, you bet. We're going to move into the twin harmony intermediate class, which was the only twin harmony today. We had the junior and the senior yesterday, and we're going to get that done. We have three players in this. There's three cash places or placings for this one today, and so we have the three that have made it to this one, and we'll get started in a little bit. This twin harmony, I want to remind the players. We talked to our sound man. By the way, we should applaud his work today, Mr. Glenn Knott back there. It's wonderful to have a sound person that absolutely has got things set, and he is here late at night and early this morning, and he's the man at the station there all day doing a great job, and it sure makes a difference for us as players up on stage and for you as audience to be able to enjoy and hear so well. So thanks so much, Glenn. Speaking of that, though, the twin harmony, I want to remind the harmony players that to be sure that the mics are going to be set the same volume. So it's going to be up to you as players, if you're the lead player, to perhaps be a little bit closer to that mic, and if you're the harmony player, to be back just a little bit. We know that that whole combination that the judges are looking for is to have that nice blend that comes forth. And because it's being amplified, that is a bit of your job to be sure that the lead part is indeed that, is a little bit ahead of the harmony as far as volume is concerned. So I'll let you figure that out, knowing that the mics are both volume the same way, and that'll be something to pay attention to for your selections. So as in the preliminary for this one, they're going to play a waltz and a tune of choice. So they could play another waltz, I guess, if they really wanted to, but I know they're going to play something a little different tempo. And they could certainly play a two-step or a jig or a reel, breakdown, etc. for that. All in the old-time style, of course, of Canadian fiddle music. So the first ones that we're going to have coming up are going to be Ethan Hardy and Benjamin Christiani. Are going to be the first ones in this class to play off in the finals. Okay, so these two are going to play the Everett Larson's Waltz and the Reg Bovet Memorial two-step.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ethan and Ben. All right, our second entry into this twin harmony intermediate class is Jane Corey and Leah Gronberg. Just wondering where the guitar player should be. You want to be right in the middle of right there? Is good? All right. Does that work for you too? It's okay? All right. The waltz today is Graham Lee's waltz. Oh, you changed it to Ashokan Farewell. Okay. We can do that. Ashokan Farewell, and the tune of choice is Tyler's Dream. Thank you, Jane and Leah. All right, our final entry in this twin harmony intermediate class. The finals today is James Steele and Kaya Grongberg. Greta's Rose is the waltz. And Tyler's Dream is the reel. Thank you, James and Kaya. That concludes the three in that particular class. We're going to move on to the traditional class next. We'll get set up for that. How's everybody doing? You want to stand up and just stretch a little bit? Why don't you do that? Just stay right where you're at and say hi to your neighbor and just stretch, a nice little bit of a stretch. I know it's you've been so great attending, watching this carefully. So, all right, sure. All right, folks, so sit back down, and how does that feel? A little bit better? A little bit of a stretch? They call that TB, that's tired bum. That's what happens when you sit a little bit too long, eh? All right, so we have three contestants that made it to the finals, and that's the three placings that are available. And so we're going to have Colton Bear come up first. Want us just to try a little bit and see how the mic is for you, Glenn? Is that okay? We'll just get Colton to do a little bit of foot tap in there. Just. Yeah, it's good. Thank you. So Colton's going to play Wheel of the Buffalo. It's going to be his tune. Okay, I think are we set? We're good to go. All right, it's all yours, Colton. Thanks, Colton. We'll have Alex Koster come up next, please. Alex is going to play Drops of Brandy. And drum. And yes, in your tradition. Thank you very much. Just wait a second. All right.
Okay.
Thanks, Alex. All right, and our final one in this traditional class, Michael Burnett. Come on up. And he's going to play Growling Old Man and Woman. Thanks, Michael. All right, folks. Wow, we're marching right along, and this is the last class that we have to complete today. Wow, we're what time is it? 4:09. So I think we'll be close to 5 o'clock. We should be out of here for sure. I think that should be these players have to play a tune of choice, so they're going to have 5 minutes to play their 3 selections plus 1 more. And this time, though, they have to play. They're going to play these in order. The Alberta Open allowed them to play in any order as they wanted to, but in the championship class, as it is in the Canadian Grand Masters, well, they can do the Alberta Open rules, but for us, the championship class is going to be that, where they're going to waltz, jig, reel, and then the tune of choice. And I think what I'll do today, folks, is just to give you the heads up of the 6 finalists in this particular class. I know you've been anxious to see and know the 6 finalists. Well, I'll announce the list right now, and then have them come up, of course, according to the order of the sheet here. But in the 6 that are going to be playing for the championship final is Leah Gronberg, James Steele, Ethan Hardy, Alex Kostrick, Raymond Knorr, and Kaya Gronberg are going to be the 6. How about a hand for those 6 and cheer them on as they come up to do their stuff. Yes, what a fantastic class. That's all those 11 that played in the preliminaries. And we've arrived at this, and we're going to invite Leah Gronberg to come up first. Today we have the 50-50 draw. How are we doing for a 50? What's our dollars we're at? About a couple thousand? No. Couple hundred, probably, something like that. Yeah, that's good. Somebody will be able to have some gas money to go home, all that. I'll tell you what, we stayed in the Redwater, the Paradise Inn and Suites, and we want to thank the Wild Rose Fiddlers for putting the judges in a place, hotel for the weekend, and myself as MC, and I think all of us stayed at that place in Redwater, and what a wonderful hotel that is. If you ever get a chance, if you have to stay overnight somewhere, Redwater, I believe you could recommend that to anyone. It's a beautiful, beautiful place, and friendly folks there that take care of it. So Redwater is not too far from here, and it's a great job. Nice little town. I see that actually you moved. Did you notice that in my bio and stuff in the program? I live in Edmonton now. You see that? It says Randy Jones is in Edmonton. And I was wondering why I'm burning up so much gas and my crew's going to SAIT every day. I don't know what's going on, but I guess I'm in Edmonton now. And I did hear that there's an higher incident of accidents within 10 kilometers home. So I just changed address, and that should be okay, right? Doesn't it make sense? I don't think it does, no. All right, let's get this last class done, and I'll have Leah Gronberg come up. Let's welcome her as she comes up, and I'll make a point of welcoming all the players today. Yes, 1 minute for sure. So the draws will happen at some point. We're going to have, as this contest winds up today, after this class, we're going to have all the players come up, and you're going to hear them jamming for a little bit while the final results get tabulated, and a little bit of time it takes to get this class in the books, etc. And then we're going to have the presentations, of course, and we'll have our draws happen today. So lots of wind up and things to wrap up the day and the weekend. All right, so let's see what we're going to have here, Leah. We're going to play the Blue Violet Waltz and the jig.
Goldenrod jig.
Goldenrod jig and the reel.
I'm not sure the name of it.
I'm not sure the name of it is the name of the reel. That's good enough. And the tune of choice, you have Stay Out of the South. All right, it's all yours.
Thank you.
Thanks, Leah. Well, here comes James Steele. Let's give him a round of applause while he's coming up here. Try to make a point for all of our championship players today. James is going to play Paddy Kostrick Waltz. Jig is Bertie Polluter. Reel is Mary Claire Reel. And the tune of choice is Sweet Georgia Brown.
Thank you.
Thank you, James. Our next contestant in the championship class is Ethan Hardy from Strome. Ethan's going to have, his waltz is going to be Everett Larson's waltz. Plymouth Lassies, the jig. Robbie Desjardins reel. And the tune of choice is Bluegrass E.
All right. 1, 3, 2. And
Thank you, Ethan. All right, our next contestant in the championship class from Winnipeg, Alex Kostrick. Alex is going to play Memories of Eva as his waltz. The jig will be Tripping Up the Stairs. The Real Big Wave Beach. And the tune of choice, Down Yonder. couple more contestants in the championship class here. Raymond Noor from Regina, Saskatchewan is the next one up. Raymond's going to play Daffodil Waltz. Jake, the Piper's Inn, I-double-N. The reel is Glenda's Reel. The tune of choice, Country Fair. Thank you, Raymond. All right, our last contestant in the championship class for 2017. We'll welcome Kaya Gronberg to the stage. Kaya is going to play Millie's Waltz. Matthew Johnson's Jig. Jordan's Reel. And White River Stomp. Thanks, Kaya. Wow. Let's give a round of applause for that whole group of championship class players. My goodness. Wow. And while we're at it, let's applaud the judges and cheer them on for all the work that they've done today. And we're going to wind this up. All their work is done pretty much at this point. So, Donna, Allison, Patty, John Calverley, thank you so much.
Grand North American Fiddle Championship.